Chronic workplace stress literally rewires brain chemistry in ways that increase accident susceptibility. Yet, this physiological pathway from financial pressure to physical injury remains invisible in most safety analyses. The stress hormone cortisol, elevated continuously by job insecurity, impossible deadlines, and economic precarity, impairs the exact cognitive functions necessary for safe equipment operation. Understanding this psychoneuroimmunological pathway reveals why human error accidents often have systemic stress origins. The cortisol cognition pathway is well documented. Acute stress triggers cortisol release, temporarily enhancing alertness, the fight-or-flight response. But chronic elevation, as occurs with ongoing financial stress, relationship problems exacerbated by overwork, or constant job insecurity, damages the prefrontal cortex. This brain region governs executive function, planning, impulse control, risk assessment, and working memory. Workers with chronically elevated cortisol literally cannot think as clearly, assess hazards as accurately, or remember safety procedures as reliably as unstressed counterparts. The attention-narrowing effect is particularly dangerous. Stressed individuals experience tunnel vision, focusing intensely on immediate tasks while peripheral awareness collapses. A worker stressed about mortgage payments operates a press brake while mentally calculating bills, missing the coworker entering the danger zone. The stress-induced attentional narrowing that helps during genuine emergencies becomes liability during routine work requiring broad environmental awareness. Studies show stressed workers have measurably slower reaction times and impaired decision-making equivalent to moderate alcohol intoxication. Sleep disruption amplifies everything. Cortisol and melatonin operate reciprocally. Elevated nighttime cortisol suppresses melatonin, preventing deep sleep. Financial stress causes rumination at 3 a.m., reducing sleep quality even when opportunity exists. This sleep deprivation further elevates cortisol, creating a vicious cycle. Workers arrive at shifts already cognitively impaired before beginning work, then face additional stressors from rushed schedules and inadequate staffing. The combined effect makes accidents nearly inevitable. Behavioral changes compound cognitive impairment. Stressed workers take more risks, rushing to finish tasks to reduce the duration of stressful situations. They skip safety steps that seem time-consuming, thinking, just this once won't matter. They're more irritable, leading to conflicts with coworkers that distract from hazard awareness. They self-medicate with substances, excessive caffeine creating jitteriness, alcohol to unwind, further impairing sleep, sometimes harder drugs, each adding layers of impairment. The economic stress-overtime connection creates a particularly toxic dynamic. Workers need overtime income to meet basic expenses, but overtime itself is physiologically stressful, elevating cortisol both from long hours and from the dangerous conditions often present during overtime. The financial necessity that drives workers to accept overtime creates the stress that makes overtime more dangerous, while the overtime further elevates stress hormones. It's a self-reinforcing cycle terminating in accidents. Individual stress management has limits. Workplace wellness programs teaching breathing exercises and mindfulness are better than nothing, providing tools for acute stress reduction. Deep breathing activates the parasympathetic nervous system, temporarily lowering cortisol. Progressive muscle relaxation, brief meditation during breaks, and cognitive reframing techniques can help. But these individual interventions cannot fully compensate for structural stressors, inadequate wages, job insecurity, impossible production quotas, and understaffing. The employer responsibility must be acknowledged. Creating working conditions that chronically elevate stress hormones, then blaming workers for stress-related accidents, is systemically unjust. Meaningful interventions address root causes, paying living wages to eliminate financial stress, adequate staffing to reduce time pressure, job security to lower chronic anxiety, and respectful management to reduce interpersonal stress. These aren't nice-to-haves, but safety necessities. As critical as machine guards, research shows cortisol levels drop significantly when workers gain collective bargaining rights, suggesting that power and control reduce stress independent of immediate wage changes. Autonomy, having input into work processes and schedules, substantially lowers stress hormones. Predictable schedules allow life planning, reducing the chaos-induced cortisol spikes from last-minute shift changes. The public health dimension extends beyond individual workplaces. Communities with high stress, low-wage employment have elevated rates of stress-related diseases, hypertension, diabetes, cardiovascular disease. These conditions burden healthcare systems while reducing workforce productivity, creating societal costs far exceeding the savings from keeping wages low and conditions stressful. The workers who build our products, deliver our packages, and provide our services deserve conditions that don't poison them with their own stress hormones. Until structural reforms address the systemic stressors of American working life, accidents will continue being blamed on human error, when the true culprit is cortisol-induced cognitive impairment from unbearable working conditions.